Now let's talk about how to break down mixed costs in a computational way, using the numbers instead of just looking at it and putting our own kind of knowledge and opinion on it. The first way is the scatter graph approach. The scatter graph approach requires that the costs and the related activities be plotted on a graph and a line being drawn through the plotted graph based on the way you see it. Now, this method is very subjective, again, exactly what I just said, because you must visually draw a line through the middle of the plotted points, and sometimes they don't line up. So let's look at an example of this. Let's say that we have this information: the number of hours and the total cost. So the number of hours are our level of activity, the total cost would be our total cost. And we're trying to put this in a scatter graph. So we'll take our graph and we would plot it on the line where the x-axis is going to be our level of activity and the y-axis is our total cost. Now, this is our scatter graph plot. Now, as the scatter graph approach tells us, we need to draw a line through this. So we may look at this scatter graph plot and say, I think this line looks good. But somebody else may come along and say, well, I think that line actually looks good. Or maybe even that line. Or how about that line? That's 4 different lines that has 4 different slopes that's going to change your variable cost 4 different ways. So this is hopefully kind of showing you, illustrating how subjective this can be. It can still be very useful, but just understand that it can be also very subjective.